Hello and welcome to another episode of Geared Toward Gear. My name is Sean and I am so glad you're here. Today we are talking about boo-boo kits, not trauma kits, just simple, small first aid kits, also known as boo-boo kits. So here is my MedTac Save a Life kit. This is one that I bought. I did a review on this not too long ago. I did purchase one, but I wanted to add a couple things to it, and one of those things is a boo-boo kit. So let me get this off to the side real quick. Bring the boo-boo kits back on screen. I'm going to break one of these down for you, show you exactly how I put these together, explain some philosophies in which you could use these, and share with you a product that is amazing in general and one option for how to store these. So a boo-boo kit, as I mentioned, is just kind of what people call a small first aid kit. It's not very comprehensive. It's simply for addressing minor stuff. You know, cuts, scrapes, you know, a bug bite, a headache, things like that. And so these can come in all shapes and sizes. I have a dedicated kind of boo-boo first aid kit in my EDC bag that is in a Maxpedition EDC kind of pocket organizer, and it's the equivalent of like 4 of these. There's a lot more stuff in it, and it fits nicely in my EDC bag, but a lot of people don't have that much space. And some people, frankly, may not need that much equipment. And so what I put together are, I put together a bunch of these. I have 2 here, and they're identical. And so I want to kind of go over what is in the boo-boo kit and my philosophy for how I put these together. So we'll put one kind of off to the side, hopefully keep the glare away. For me, I kind of had a couple criteria when I was putting these together. One is I wanted them to be repeatable. So I wanted to be able to make several identical boo-boo kits so that I always know that they all contain the exact same products. So when purchasing or sourcing the materials that you need to put in here, just keep that in mind. At least that's what I did. In addition, I wanted the form factor to be such that it could be added into a trauma kit. So one of these boo-boo kits is inside this MedTac Save a Life kit that I just showed you. And the boo-boo kit that I keep in my EDC bag is pretty big, and there's no way it could even possibly fit into a trauma kit. So one philosophy of use for a boo-boo kit such as this is to add to an existing trauma kit. And I think that's important for a couple reasons. And really the main reason being that a trauma kit contains, generally speaking, tools and items to treat major trauma, tourniquets, quick clot, things like that. It's very unlikely that we will ever need to use those items, hopefully. But what we do often need are Band-Aids and Tylenol, right? The simple stuff. Your kid scrapes his knee, you burn your finger on a hot stove, you get a headache, you have diarrhea, whatever the case may be. And so, as my friend Frederick and I were talking about not too long ago, you don't want to bust out, you know, a $40 package of quick clot gauze to address a minor wound, right? Because that's expensive and it's just unnecessary. And so a small purpose-built boo-boo kit to add to a trauma kit can be very advantageous. In addition, because of the form factor, these can be stored in places where you may not have a ton of space. So in my EDC bag, I have plenty of room for a larger boo-boo kit, a larger first aid kit, but these would fit anywhere. It would fit in a pocket. It would fit in pretty much any size purse for a female, any size EDC bag, school backpack, you know, your laptop bag, you name it. Because again, it's a very small form factor. It's repeatable, and I just didn't want to go overboard and add so much stuff that it became not quite as practical for everyday use as just a small first aid kit. So let's break into this guy and see what I have put in my first aid kit or my boo-boo kit. And yours may look very different than mine. But I think the important thing is that if you don't have a ton of space, or you just want something very basic, to keep the form factor as small as you can while still providing kind of the level of medical preparedness, if you will, that you are comfortable with. So first off, we have some burn gel, just 1 packet of burn gel, and that's going to be for your minor burns. You're not going to put that on, you know, a major 3rd-degree burn, but it definitely works well for those minor burns. Right behind that, I have one single large size Band-Aid. This is like a 4" by 2", so a nice large Band-Aid. Tucked, kind of folded inside of that, I have one package of 3M brand Steri-Strips. These are wound closures, and those come in handy. They're those little strips you see there. So I've got some Steri-Strips. In addition, I have what's called a Splinter Out, and this is a sterile, pointy, pokey thing, essentially. And I have one that I took out of the package that I'll show you real quick. So I have a Splinter Out, and what that looks like is this. This is what's inside that package. It is a sterile piece of very, very thin steel, and at the end is just the pointiest, most acute little point that you could use to dig out a splinter or a sliver or something like that. So I keep one Splinter Out. And then behind that, I have 5 single Band-Aids, just the standard size, kind of your average Band-Aid. So I have 5 of those. And that is it for kind of my, I guess, trauma supplies, if you will. What's left in here are 2 additional plastic bags. And that's the other thing that's important, or was important for me when building this Boo Boo kit, was I wanted something that was pretty easy to organize. So these are stored in a 4" by 3" Ziploc bag. You can get these in like a pack of 100 for like $5 on Amazon. Very, very cheap, but it's 4" by 3". These smaller bags, I bought these from Walgreens, from the drugstore. These are called pill pouches. It's probably gonna be hard to read, but it says pill pouch. And these are made to store pills. So I have 2 of them within the kit, and we'll start with this one. So this is kind of my medication pouch, and inside I have a single dose of bismuth, which is Pepto-Bismol is what that is. It's for upset stomach. In addition, I have a dose of antacids. So this would be like your Tums for heartburn and things like that, acid reflux, what have you. Then I have 1 dose, or technically 2, of anti-diarrheal tablets. So I've got that. Next I have this is a prescription medication called ondansetron, more commonly known as Zofran. And this is an antiemetic, which essentially stops nausea. And that's because somebody in my family often gets nauseous, especially in vehicles. So a single dose of Zofran. And then just loosely packed in here, I have 8 200 milligram tablets of ibuprofen, 6 extra strength 500 milligram tablets of Tylenol or acetaminophen, and 4 25 milligram doses of Benadryl, which are those pink tablets there. Now, these are not individually packaged, so it's important to understand kind of the general expiration date time frame and make a note of that. But keep in mind that the expiration date, in most cases, and certainly read the bottle and read the instructions or talk to your pharmacist, but in most cases, the expiration date simply means that the effectiveness could start to wear off. But if I take a Tylenol the day after it expires, it's not going to kill me, if that makes sense. So that's the rest of my medications. So there is that. And then my last little bag here is kind of my topical ointments and wipes and things like that. So in here, I have 1 pair of alcohol prep pads. I also have a single sting relief pad for like an insect bite or something like that. And then I've got a bunch of these little single-use packages of different topical ointments. So this is going to be oral gel, which is kind of like Ambisol or Oragel. It's kind of numbs your gums or your tooth if you have a toothache or something like that. It's very effective. It uses benzocaine as the active ingredient. So I've got 1 of those. Then I've got a single package of hydrocortisone cream. So this is going to be essentially like anti-itch cream is all that is. So if you get some sort of an itchy situation going on, the hydrocortisone cream is going to come in handy. And then I have 2 individual packages of triple antibiotic ointment. So that's going to be like your Neosporin for putting on to a kind of a minor scrape or something like that. So that is the entire contents of my Boo Boo kit. And again, that is stored in 1 4" by 3" Ziploc bag, and then the 2 smaller little pill pouches that I happen to get from Walgreens. And for me, that is enough. It's going to treat my minor scrapes, my minor cuts, splinters. You know, as far as the medications are concerned, headaches, allergies, diarrhea, you know, upset stomach, things like that. So it's pretty basic. You could definitely go a lot further with this. You could add tools like tweezers and scissors and flashlights and all kinds of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I think size matters in that, again, I wanted it to be in a form factor that is convenient, practical, and again, repeatable. So, you know, these individually packaged medications you can buy online. Same thing with these ointments, or just use, you know, whatever you have lying around is fine. But kind of when I planned this out, I used things that I had on hand where I could make a number of these that were identical to one another, and that's my Boo Boo Kit. So where would you put this? Well, you could certainly carry it just like this, in the plastic bag. Again, it's a very small form factor. It's not going to take up a ton of space. You could throw it right in your pocket or into a bag just like this. However, there's a product that I am in love with, and I have probably 10 of these, and I've had them for years, like 7 years probably. And these are made by a company called Manhattan Portage, and it's made from genuine Cordura nylon, probably like a 500 or maybe an 800 D Cordura. Very high quality, and these things go for like $7 on Amazon, and they come in every color you can imagine: pink, purple, green, yellow, camo, obviously black and red, tan. I mean, there are so many options to choose from when it comes to color, which is nice. So maybe for something like first aid, you'd want to use red. And these kits that I built happen to fit just beautifully into one of these cases. And there's still extra room if you want to throw in some prescription medications or, you know, a pair of tweezers or something like that. But this would or could be a nice way to store your Boo Boo Kit and just toss that into your work backpack, your school bag, your EDC bag, your purse, whatever the case may be. So whether you use these for a Boo Boo Kit or a first aid kit or not, these products, these coin purses from Manhattan Portage, and I'll leave a link to these below, they're just fantastic. The quality is excellent. I have one in my EDC bag in which I store like chapstick, a lighter, tweezers, nail clippers, nail file, that kind of stuff. Actually, and then I have another one in my vehicle where I keep a few items. Like I said, I have a ton of these things, and they're great. I can't say enough good things about the Manhattan Portage coin purses. They're great. And it just so happens that the Boo Boo Kit fits beautifully into one of these. But again, the main reason why I kind of started this exercise was so that I could add a Boo Boo Kit to my trauma kit. This is my wife's trauma kit, technically. So that if there's a minor scrape or ailment, she's not busting out Quick Clot and, you know, combat gauze and things like that when it's not necessary. So that is my philosophy for how to build a Boo Boo Kit. You can scale this up as large as you want, as small as you want, but I do think it's important, if you're going to take the time to do this, make several, like 10, and make them all identical and give them to your friends, give them to your family members, your husbands, your wives, your kids. Have one in each vehicle, have one in each EDC bag, whatever the case may be, so that you know that kind of wherever you are or wherever you go, that this Boo Boo Kit is close by. And then obviously if you use something, you know, replace it when it's convenient. Again, I chose with a lot of these things to just have one, right? So if somebody's having, you know, nausea, there's just one tablet for that, and that's okay. We'll replace it, right? Band-Aids, obviously there's more than one because those are the most commonly used items, at least for me. So just a couple things to keep in mind. That is my Boo Boo Kit in all of its glory. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave those down there as well. And again, I will leave links for the Manhattan Portage coin purses, which are just phenomenal little pouches at like $7 or $8. So that's it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.